Welcome to the networking module video tutorial. In this video, we'll explain how to configure the networking module for our virtual events. So let's begin. We have our created event here. We click on it. And once we get in the event, we select the fifth options in the left for networking. This one. So we see there's any networking activity created yet. So we hit on the blue button for create networking. Once created, we will start with the name. In this case, we'll name it as demo networking. And then we will click on this option for virtual to assign the platform that we won't have any physical locations and will be totally managed through this Eventtia backend platform and for the attendees. So here we assign the contact name, who we're going to send emails so forth regarding the networking specifically. We'll type it here for demo event. And in this one for the email account. In this case, it's going to be demo@eventtia. So where the attendees will receive invitation emails, appointments confirmation, etc. That's email that you're going to get notifications of the networking event from. Then the scheduling mode, in this case, we'll keep it as this manual option. This means that the participants will be able to request meetings within each other. So next option here is for the networking activity start and end dates. In this example, we set this up here for February 24th, 8 a.m. and the end date for February the 24th at 5 p.m. 17 hours. So the meeting scheduling means that it's the date and time that the participants can start to request appointments and meetings between them. This one can be different for the start of the networking event per se, but in this example, we'll leave it same. So 24th of February, 8 a.m., February 24th till 5 p.m. All right, so we click here on save, and once saved, we'll move on into the next settings. So we click here on the second tab for networking profiles. Since there are no profiles yet created, we click on this blue text and we assign a participant's name. In this case, for the networking sessions, there's normally buyers and suppliers are divided in those categories. Here, the same tab as buyers. And we have the option here for can block time slots. So we said that the schedule for event will be open from 8 to 5, right? So then if the participants want to cancel and not receive appointments because they might have been involved in other activities or meetings, they can block those time slots schedules. So next option here is for can schedule last minute meetings. This means that the participants will be able to schedule meetings until the networking schedule is over for last minute, even in the same date and even in the last option or time slot of the day, they can set that up. All right, so this next option for cancel meetings tells us that the attendees can cancel already scheduled meetings during the event lifecycle, meaning that until the end of the end date of the event, if, for example, attendee 1 has a meeting with attendee 2 at 10 a.m., he'll be able to cancel it anytime until 5 minutes before the appointment time. And that option will allow us and that can be reflected immediately in the virtual stage in real time. So next option here is for schedule restrictions. If we select this option, some events have by itself an activities program. So if we restrict those schedules, the attendees of the networking session won't be able to schedule meetings between time span for the activities. So if we selected, they won't be able to schedule meetings. But if it's unticked, they will be able to attend the activities and have meetings for networking at the same time. If you leave it unticked like this. So next option is the participant or attendee types. So we choose the types of attendees in here you would like to associate and assign their to request and accept meetings. Since we're creating the profile here for the buyers, we'll select also buyers here on the attendee types. Next option here is for categories, but this only works for live or in-person events. And at last, we have the option here for show contact info. And if enabled, at the time of the networking meeting, both people that are in this meeting one-to-one will show each other's contact info, email, phone, company, position, etc. So once we just have set up these options, we just click here on save. We have here the confirmation that the participant type has been saved. Now we will create a second attendees networking profile. So we get to know how they can set up meetings between them. We go back here on the networking profiles, and we're going to use this button for new that is on the right to create the second attendees networking profile. And in here, we'll name it as supplier. And this option for can request meetings to will display, and this enables that the supplier will be able to request meetings exclusively to the buyer. These parts were already explained that for can block time slots, schedule last minute meetings, cancel meetings, and schedule restrictions. Under participant types, we just assign the attendees type to the supplier, and we click on save. Good. Okay, so we have that the system will assign by default these two options on checkboxes for suppliers and suppliers. But if we don't want that the suppliers can request meetings between them, we just untick the box, save, and that'll be all. We can do that same selection with the buyers. If you don't want for the buyers to request meetings between them and have them only with the suppliers, we'll go back in here, general information, we'll go back here to networking profiles, get access into the buyer's profile, make sure that we're just then untick it for the buyers and then tick it for the suppliers, so we hit save. So now, yes, the suppliers can request meeting to the buyers and vice versa. Okay, so next option or the third tab that we have here is for meeting slots. And initially we will find that there are no slots yet for configured for this day. So what we'll do is to click the option first for add slot, and we can add a time slot one by one for these networking meetings. So for example, we're going to have here a 1 hour meeting. So we set it up here from February 24th at 8 a.m. until February 24th, 9 a.m. And we hit save. And this will appear reflected right here. But if we generate time slots one by one, it will be very extensive and time consuming. So we'll just delete it here for the example. And we have this other option to generate time slots, multiple time slots. So we click here on generate slots. Well, in here we can just set up here the duration of the meeting. In this example, we just put it for 20 minutes, but you can set it up as long as you require for 20, 30 minutes, up to 1 hour. depending on what you require. Yes. Um, the amount of time slots, we'll put it here until 5 p.m. We'll just put here initially 25. And this option for break duration, if you want to set up a space of time between each one. So for this example, we won't be putting any break duration. We just hit save here. We close it, and we'll see that these schedules are being generated automatically. 8 to 8:20, 8:20 to 8:40, 8:40 to 9. We're going to just review, and in here, the 25th time slot just stated that it's until 4:20 p.m. So we're missing two more time slots, 4:20 to 4:40 and 4:40 to 5, until the end date of our networking event. So in here, we click again for generate time slots. We just make sure then that it will start by 4:20, put the same duration for 20 minutes, two more slots then until 5, and we hit save, and voila. Once we just click and save our changes, we'll see that you have those two already created time slots. Okay, so if we want to set up a break time, so we can delete the specific time slots during that break time. For example, we're going to set up here a lunch time between 12 to 1. So we just delete these time slots that are in this case created to set up for the attendees 1 hour for lunch break. So in here, we just make sure that from 12 to 1, there's not going to be any meeting available for or time slot available for meetings. Okay, so yes, in here we just have set up that the participants and attendees will have a 1 hour lunch break from 12 to 1 then. Now, so when the attendees will start to schedule and confirm their meetings for the networking space, in this fourth tab for participants, we will also see those sign up for the networking space. It will display the attendees information right here. So their amount of requested meetings, rejected meetings, and confirmed scheduled meetings. Next, it's this fifth tab for scheduled meetings. We'll be able to see the requested meetings, accepted or rejected. In here, we'll display, for example, that attendee 1 has a meeting with attendee 2 from 9 to 9:20. Also, participant 6, attendee 6 has a requested meeting with attendee 8 from 10 to 10:20. So we'll see all scheduled meetings of the attendees, and we will have filtering options available. We can filter by status, requested, confirmed, accepted, rejected, or expired. We can also filter by participant types or profiles for networking activity as buyers or suppliers, and meeting types, if those are booked or those are last minute meetings. So this means that if we click on, for example, by filtering on buyers, we will see the meetings for only the buyers. And if we also want to add an additional filter on the status, we can select it from one of them. And there, once you hit on search, these requesting pending meetings will display. Same for confirmed or for rejected or expired. So if we don't select anything, it will show specifically the whole amount of meetings that are already in place, scheduled on the networking event. Okay, so the last important set of options are the advanced settings. So we click on the right top green button for actions, and then we click on the third option for advanced settings, and we'll see these last settings options. Okay, so we have here for other options, the first here for enable meetings evaluation, and this one is for enabling service to the attendees of the networking space or activity. So you can set up a survey for them to respond, to reply. The second option is for enabling categories, but we don't use it since this, as I said, is for sort of in-person events. Enable categories. And this last option for this section is for meeting limit per slot, limit amount of scheduled meetings per slot. So this is for assigning a certain limit of meetings for the networking activity. So if we only want to set up or to have only 40 meetings for the whole space, we set it up right here. And if there, we hit on save. If we don't want to set it up any limit, we just leave it in 0 here. So the active participants are those who appear in listings and by default are those that have a paid and validated status. But if we select these options and have it enabled, will mean that we can assign that the attendees that have pending payments or haven't paid for the event can participate in the networking event, or same for attendees that haven't been validated. So we can assign these options to bypass this type of active participants to get access or to have access to the networking event. And as well, we hit here on save. The next option here is for meeting rejection reasons. And this one is, for example, that participant wanted to have meetings and either one of those wants to cancel or reject the meeting. We just enable it here. And in order for it to work, we have to click add this button, this green button at the right, and set up here a reason. For example, we put it here. I can't attend this meeting because I have another one already. And we hit save. So you can add as many reasons as you would like them to set up here. And it's super important that if you enable it, at least one reason is saved and stored here in the platform. Hit and save. That will be all. The last option here is for meeting expiration, and we enable it. So we need to check this checkbox to automatically expire those meetings that haven't been responded, and we have a selection from 1 day until 8 days. And the message by default is this one that is already just set up here. This meeting has been automatically canceled since the other party didn't respond in a timely fashion. If you want to assign it for the whole type of attendees of the event, we just leave it here unticked. And this also option as well is if you want to have to send a reminder for the expiration of the meeting as well, 1 day before canceling the meeting, or up to 8 days as well. And we hit here and save. The section, if we're changing any of the options or we're just completing any changes, we have to make sure that hit save accordingly. All set. So this is all you will need to take into account for the networking configuration of our Eventtia backend platform. And we say goodbye for now. If you have any additional questions, remember to contacting us on our email help@eventtia.com. And you can also find out in our knowledge base these relevant related articles and information regarding this topic. We hope you have a great day.